Master, you see, there are all kinds of laws. But there's a hierarchy. Even when it comes to laws, there's a hierarchy. And when you come to discuss the hierarchy of laws, the supreme law is the Constitution. So no law which can be deemed as being in violation of the Constitution can stand. A law is law or applicable law only to the extent that it conforms with the provisions of the Constitution. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I get a point.
So, Parliament may pass laws, but even when Parliament passes laws, those laws ought to be in conformity with both the spirit and letter of the Constitution to gain validity. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I follow.
Now, if you come to Article 88, 4, it is clear. It says, all offenses prosecuted in the name of the Republic of Ghana shall be at the suit of the Attorney General or any other persons authorized by him in accordance with any law. So it is clear. Now, the other thing which is also very clear is the fact that the OSP's primary responsibility is prosecution. There's no other responsibility. Even the name of the office spells that out clearly. Office of Special Prosecutor. So the gravamen of its work is prosecution. Finished. And that power is not vested in the OSP. It's vested in the Attorney General. So when the OSP goes to court to prosecute, he does so exercising the powers of the Attorney General. I hope you understand what I'm saying very clearly. And that is why I have always insisted that this aberration of the OSP was nothing but a political gimmick. Nothing but a political gimmick.
All right. Someone need Nakudu. He sent his message. It's a bit long, but it's a very interesting one. It says, "Good morning, guys. 1. There is no law that compels OSP to hand over a docket to the AG. 2. The docket on the matters regarding Ken Ofori-Atta has other suspects named in it, but the extradition is in respect of Ken alone. So OSP cannot and will not hand over the entire document to the AG, even correspondence between OSP and government has been leaked to loudmouth propagandists. How much more the contents of a docket? 3. What AG needs are details of the case as they relate to Ken, which the OSP has provided to the AG, but left with a few more details. 4. I have heard Ken Taylor say, he's talking Kevin Taylor, say that OSP reports to the AG, absolute balderdash, which law says OSP reports to AG. 5. The undercurrents of this whole brouhaha is something else other than the deliberately created confusion about the word docket. 6. Even under the NPP, there were 2 failed attempts to impeach the OSP, so we see what is happening here, but it will still not succeed. I think number one has decided never to interfere in the work of the OSP, but some folks planning to loot are on an agenda to see the back of the OSP. This matter is not about any dockets. They know exactly what they're up to." Now that's from someone.
There are so many problems
with his message.
I just want to make a little qualification.
I want to make a little qualification.
I think we should not mislead the public. Okay?
Interestingly, Franklin agrees with him. Interestingly. Please. Yes, I'm listening.
When it comes to extradition, the only person who the OSP is seeking to extradite is Ofori-Atta.
Yes.
He's the only person the OSP is seeking to extradite. Okay. Now, this question about the mandate of the OSP. is not in dispute. Article 88 of the Constitution, Clause 4, sets it out so very clearly. If the power to prosecute is vested only in the Attorney General, vested only in the Attorney General by the Constitution, any institution which is prosecuting does so on behalf of the Attorney General, and therefore its subordinate position is established. And mind you, the OSP is not the only organization which does prosecutions on behalf of the Attorney General. The Ghana Police Service,
Yes.
Yoko, and several others do prosecutions, and they are deemed to be doing those prosecutions on behalf of the Attorney General. And therefore, their inferiority status is established beyond doubt.
Okay.
Don't throw dust into the eyes of the public.
Let's do this.
No, let me
let
just help on Kwesi a little bit. You
So
see,
I want us to move on.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sure.
Section 2 of Act 5, I just want to read it for clarity.
Okay.
You see, the object of the office is to A, investigate. Because we are talking about investigation, that's why I'm emphasizing on that, is to investigate and prosecute specific cases of alleged or suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses. B, recover the produce of corruption and corruption-related offenses. And C, take steps to prevent corruption. So if you listen to the texter, he is coming from the third leg, if you are reading the section 2 in whole. So that is his assumption. That's what he's trying to create. That's why I was telling Kwesi that yes, prosecution is part of the work of the OSP, but he has investigative functions as well. So that is why they are telling us that they are investigating. Likewise, the Attorney General says he meets the matters they have investigated to work and progress on the extradition that we are seeking to go on with.
Except that, the powers of investigation given to the OSP under the law are for purposes of prosecution.
Yes.
So the power to investigate...
No, I'm not in, that is not in dispute at all. That is not in dispute at all. That is not in dispute at all.
Reference the substantial duty of the OSP. Okay.
But what do we make of the growing calls for the office to be scrapped? I mean, it appears to be gaining some serious momentum and currency. I mean, if you go on social media...
Well, I think what appears to be gathering momentum is not a call for scrapping the office, but a call for removing the OSP.
But Kwesi, if everything you have said so far, which is actually a fact, because I've been following your submission or your stance on this matter, and you have given us more than enough information by your reading of the Constitution to support this view that the creation of that office in the first place was a mistake, was a wrong step. So based on that, there are growing calls for it to be scrapped.
More, I don't believe in that submission.
I'm coming.
I don't believe in that submission.
Massa, I beg you.
I don't believe in that.
Massa, I'm coming, please. I'm saying that there are no growing calls for the office to be scrapped. There are growing calls for the special prosecutor as special prosecutor to be dismissed. Okay, and you need to make that distinction. Now, I firmly believe, and I've said so several times this morning, that the creation of that office was a gimmick, and that is what has landed us here.
So why keep it?
I beg you, hold on. That is not to say that there was not a problem that the creation of the office was seeking to cure. That's a problem. And the problem was described most eloquently by former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The problem is this. The Attorney General is part of cabinet. The Attorney General is appointed by the President. So to all intents and purposes, when the Attorney General acts, he is seen as acting from a politically biased position, whether you like it or not. Okay. So the creation of this office was intended to cure that. But I'm saying that it has not cured that. To the extent that the OSP is also the choice of the president, appointed by the president. So for this link with the Attorney General, link between President and Attorney General, arising out of the power to appoint, also applies to the OSP. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you take many other factors into consideration, many other factors, the constitutional provisions, the way in which the office functions and so on, it does not cure the problem it's sought to cure. So that problem is still there, needs to be cured, okay? Public perception is also growing in a totally different direction and so on. This maze of complexity is what we are supposed to address.
You see, Kwesi, sorry,
to tell you the truth, I don't know how to address it.
Kwesi, you know, sorry we're belaboring this point or we're splitting hairs over this matter, but depending on where you are, who you're listening to, and where you're reading your information from, it appears that the two calls that you just made this morning are all very current. There are those who say the office is useless, and there are those who say, okay, the office is good, but sack the guy who's there. But in all of this, why did Matiamidu leave there? He complains about political interference, executive interference. So for as long as this is executive interference, which we say we want to cure, and as you rightly put it, by setting up the office or establishing the office of the special prosecutor, does not go away, even if today Mahama decides that he won't have anything to do with what the OSP does. We've just seen what is happening between the Attorney General's office. And you have eloquently put it that, oh, the man can't do much, can do some, but can't do much without support of the Attorney General's office. And the Attorney General's office, we know, is part of the executive. And I'm back to the question, the fundamental question here being, should this stay as the OSP, forget about the guy who's there, should the office stay or must go? At some point, we have to make that decision. This back and forth every day, and nothing happens. Oh,
so Moro,
let's make progress.
Moro, wait a minute.
No, let's. We have to make.
No,
a decision.
you have asked a very important question. We're here by virtue of.
I want my viewers. Look, let's do a poll. Let's poll this question.
I don't. Before
Should the OSP be set up or not? Please let us know what you think about this.
You can do a poll. Listen, let me tell you.
What problem with that your pool cure?
No, wait a minute. You can do a pool. Listen. No, wait, listen. You can do a pool. You can do a pool. Let me tell you. What have we decided to do to ourselves? To run a democratic process. Isn't it so? Why am I seated here expressing my viewpoints and forcing them the way? Likewise, your good self. That is the beauty of democracy. Freedom of expression, freedom of association, guaranteed by this good book that Kwesi has been calling our Constitution, that I believe in our Constitution. That is why in my closing submission I said that where this conversation is getting to, as a political animal and as a student who is trying his best to understand law, we are getting into the realms of Supreme Court interpretation. Because it will be my word against your word. It will be my understanding against your understanding. And this book gives only the Supreme Court the power to interpret our rules. So please, in the beauty of democracy, your wish may not be my wish.
Look, this Supreme Court interpretation you are seeking will only end up being an academic exercise. This is Ghana.
You see,
actually,
you see,
if you read the
Moro, it is the same Supreme Court who will give an interpretation that will give you feed for you to dance on.
Oh,
Master,
makes sense.
We all make this mistake.
In Ghana, we do.
Moro.
What, don't you have confidence in your country, Ghana?
Moro.
I do.
Thank
Moro.
you.
We all make this mistake. But it's a grievous mistake. And the mistake we make is that we keep saying that the Supreme Court is the final arbiter when it comes to the interpretation of the Constitution, or disputes about the interpretation of the Constitution. It is not true. If you read the Constitution recognizes that ultimately sovereignty resides in the people.
Okay.
So the will of the people as expressed is the final arbiter. And I say that, look, the people of Ghana can decide tomorrow that we don't want a Supreme Court. The people
Yes.
of Ghana can decide that we don't want a Supreme Court. The people of Ghana can decide that we don't want a parliament. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So the final
see-
arbiter, we should never forget at any time that ultimately, eventually, the final arbiter in all legal, political, social disputes and so on is the people.
Wasn't that well expressed in 2024? What was it?
To some extent.
Okay.